Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Shea Marriott from Rebirth Podcast. Tune in tonight. We are going to be talking about how stress affects the organs with the lovely Dr. Angela Brown. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to tonight's podcast.
Out of the ashes we will soar to a destiny we can't ignore. Heartbeats echo through the night with every dream an endless flight. Together strong, let's break the mold. Our rebirth and stories told. It's time to renew, rebuild, restore. Unlock the dreams we've been waiting for. Rise up higher, more and more. With every breath, a new dawn's roar.
Hey, happy Monday. Welcome to Rebirth Podcast. What's up, everybody? I'm so happy to be here. Listen, it's been a long weekend, but I am here. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I am here. And not only am I here, but I'm here with the lovely Miss Dr. Angela Davis Brown is in the building.
Hey girl,
Hey, girl. I'm so happy to have you. I said, I am not streaming her in. She is coming into the studio and we're going to have a good time like we always do, right?
Always. And thank you. I love it here already.
Yeah,
Love it.
good. So listen, guys, again, welcome. If you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, please do that right now. It is so important that you subscribe because it helps us bring content and amazing people like Dr. Brown to the show with good information. So we have a wonderful show for you tonight, guys. We're going to be talking about how stress affects the organs. So make sure if you have any questions for Dr. Brown, start thinking about it and you can put it in the chat and we will make sure that we get to your questions before the night is over with. Okay. So how have you been?
I have been just like the rest of the world, girl. Up, down, sideways, back, forth, around, in the bend, out the cut, and then happy to be
I
here.
know.
Yeah.
So don't it feel like January has been like the whole year?
It feels like this week was the whole year. Yes. And I've been saying that all week. It feels like it's been a long
It's
year all
crazy.
week.
It
Yep.
really
Yep.
have. It's been a lot going on, but we're still here. We're still standing, and we're gonna be good. We're gonna be okay.
Yes.
We're gonna be okay. So as you see, I have my Eagles jersey on. Let's go. Are you an Eagles fan? Okay.
Here's what I am. First of all, I'm superstitious, so I have to wear Eagles things.
That's
colors every
right.
day. And I'm from Philly, so no, I don't watch football. Yes, I love my team, my city, EAGLES, go Birds, all the
That's
things.
right.
Yes.
Or we could spell it like the mayor, EGLES.
We're not gonna talk about her right now.
God bless her. God bless her. Are you gonna watch the Super Bowl?
I will definitely watch halftime and probably some of the last quarter. Yes.
Yeah, because you're gonna be dancing to Kendrick Lamar. We like to get your dance.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So guys, who are you rooting for? Put it in the chat. Are you rooting for the Chiefs? Are you rooting for the Eagles, the team that's going to win? I want to know who's watching tonight. Who are you rooting for?
And this isn't one of those, there's no dumb answers. There's a dumb answer. So go ahead.
Definitely want to know. What's up, Michael Brown? Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Thank you. That's my husband.
That's your husband. Hey, hubby. Thank
hubby.
you for tuning in.
Thank you.
So I just want to I gotta give a couple shout outs because we got some birthdays coming up for a couple people that are very close to me. So shout out to one of my besties, Shonda Johnson. Happy birthday. Your birthday is coming up this weekend. Hopefully you'll come out to the Rebirth meetup and celebrate with us. But happy birthday to you. I want to send a happy birthday to Chelsea. Chelsea, happy birthday. I believe you're coming out to the Rebirth meetup. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Julie Morton. Her birthday is at the end of the month, and we're going to be celebrating her big 50th. But happy early birthday to you. And to everybody else that have birthdays coming up or have passed, happy birthday to you. I hope you celebrate your day. Another year around the sun. So it's a blessing to be able to wake up and still have breath, especially today.
Yep.
especially today. So speaking of the Rebirth meetup, let's get into it. February 8th from 6 to 9. I am requesting your presence at the Rebirth meetup. This is our second one, okay? And it is a good time. We're going to be networking with like-minded people. We have a DJ Just Twan is going to be in the building. I want everybody to get their two-step on this time, right? Get their little whatever line dance or whatever.
Yes.
Girl, I've been practicing the fan. That fan, I've been practicing. We gotta talk about that.
I love the
yes.
fan.
We gotta practice that. But if you go to rebirthu.com right now, get your ticket. The ticket is only $25. That secures your entrance at the door, as well as any little food that we may have there for you. We're doing a really cute dessert table there. And it's going to be at the Marketplace Gallery in Wilmington, Delaware. I believe that's 200 West 9th Street. Can we get that flyer back up there real quick so everybody can get the information? So it's a fun time, genuine conversations. We're going to be jumping on and doing a little podcast in a little bit, but not much. We really want you guys to really just, network and just enjoy the music and have a good time. And this is for anybody age, as long as you're 21 and older, you're fine. So, and you can come dressed however you want to dress. It's up to you. There's no dress code, but I would probably suggest dress fashionable, right? Because we're going to be coming out and enjoying the evening together. So if you have business cards that you want to bring those, because again, you're going to be networking. So I'm just happy about it. I'm excited about it. 6 to 9 on February 8th. And I hope you guys come on out and, have a good time. Yeah. You was at the first one.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
You had a good time?
I had a great time.
Yeah. We had a really good conversation, right? With
Yes.
everybody. So it's
Yes.
a very intimate environment. It's very different from the Rebirth Lives.
Yeah, and very vulnerable, very authentic. People tend
Yes.
to open up. And
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. We had a good time. So I hope to see you guys there. So as you know, it is Black History Month, right? So we always celebrate Black history all year round. But for the month of February, we're going to be bringing you, different people to celebrate for Black History Month. So I know you guys are aware of the Greensboro 4. I got to find my notes, y'all. The Greensboro 4. We did have a picture, but we didn't get a chance to get it up for you. So you know about the Greensboro 4, right? When I start telling the story, you'll know. When I could find it, I can't even find it, y'all. But these are the 4 people that actually sat in. It was they sat in. I believe it was at was it Woolworth?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
Remember
yes.
Woolworth back in the day?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. They sat in, and we, because of people like them, is why we have so many rights and privileges today, which they trying to take away from us, but that ain't gonna happen.
Day by day.
That's that.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. That's not gonna happen. So I just wanted to recognize that the Greensboro. I cannot believe I'm having a hard time pulling my notes up, y'all, but I'm gonna find it. So bear with me while we're waiting. How about you put in the chat who you're rooting for on Sunday? Okay, so on February 1st, 1960, 4 Black college students actually sat down at a white-only lunch counter at Woolworth in Greensboro, North Carolina, and refused to leave after being denied service. This peaceful protest sparked a nationwide sit-in movement with thousands of students across the country joining in the challenge segregation in public spaces. Their bravery and persistence led to the desegregation of many establishments and played a key role in the civil rights movement. The Greensboro 4 courage reminds us that change begins when we take a stand. Okay? It begins when we take a stand. Or in this case, they took a seat. So shout out to, they're probably no longer amongst the living, I believe.
I don't
know,
actually.
But anyway, shout out to the Greensboro for for all that they did for the civil rights movement. And that is your Black History moment. Thank you for being patient with me. I had to grab my notes on it. All right, Dr. Brown. we're going to talk about how stress affects the organs. But before we go there, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody? I know,
Okay.
you've been on the Rebirth before, but let's let people know who you are. You about that business.
About that business. About that business. So my name is Angela Davis Brown. I love in Black History Month that I was born after Angela Davis. Actually, I love that every day. But very important in Black History Month to note that I was named after Angela Davis. I was raised by people who were extremely politically conscious, and I was brought up that way. And so it makes it more relevant today with everything we have going on, the political atmosphere, the comeback, if it ever left, of overt racism, um, and the impact that it has on us in this day and age to deal with all the trauma of the world and the news and whatever we have going on outside of our door. A lot of us have families and trauma going on inside of our doors, not necessarily physical, emotional, stressful. Your mind doesn't shut down, it's hard to sleep. And the effect that this has then on our vital organs, and vital organs are vital because we need them to live. It sounds so basic, but it's so true.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
for
who I am.
sure.
I have two sons, both of whom will be in college come August. One's 18, one's 23.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Class of 20. I'm so excited. And I am stressed. Right?
That's what we're here to talk about, right?
I live it. I
It's
work
real.
full time. I hold
Yeah.
different positions. I have a family of
Yeah.
jobs. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And we make it.
And we make it. So we're you just so what I love about this is, Dr. Brown's a medical doctor. I'm a mental health therapist, right? But we're human first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So a lot of things that we talk to our patients about, we have to apply to ourselves because life is life and for us as well, right? So with everything that you just said, you said, and I'm stressed, right? So how do you manage your stress? What do you do to kind of balance that?
So many things. I dance.
Yes, she definitely
I'm not even
did.
gonna say I do it well, but I do it.
She do it very well.
I have a group of friends. We dance. We do Zumba, mixed fit, whatever we can do. We do. We walk. We talk. I am real with my patients, pretty transparent with most, so that's actually therapeutic for me. I've recently started stretching and yoga.
Yes.
That has changed my life.
Yes.
And I enjoy my food. I enjoy life. Like I make sure there's life. Right. Enjoy my family. Yeah.
Which is important, which is very important. So let's jump into it. We're talking about how stress affects our organs from the inside out, right? I know from the mental health standpoint, even myself, I when I was going through my divorce years ago, I remember driving, right? And I was trying to get, this was a long time because my kids were they were young. So I was trying to take them to summer camp, and I'm driving, I'm feeling my chest tightening up. And I'm like, what the heck? And my breathing start to get shallow. Now I know what panic attacks are. I know what anxiety attacks are. I treat it in my patients, but I never had one,
Right.
But something was happening. And I'm feeling it felt like somebody was just sitting on my chest. And all I could think was just get my kids into the summer camp, and then I'm going to go to the hospital. Get them in. I'm going to go to the hospital. Girl, I barely made it. When I rolled up to the emergency room, I literally rolled up, pretty much fell out my car door.
Wow.
My door was still open, and kind of walked in and just like collapsed. And it immediately took me back because they're thinking I'm having a heart attack, whatever. I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. My heart was fine. It was fine. But that was my first time and last time ever having a panic attack like that. But it was from stress. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, it's all good points. And the mechanics of it, right? And how I like to explain the human body to people. Your body's just a machine. It's got a pump, your heart. It's got pipes that take the blood everywhere, and it has a filter, the kidneys, right? And there's other organs that play roles, but those are the key ones. And the pipes, all of these things, the pipes, the pump, the filter, are made out of muscle. So if you have a pipe, let's say, how about a pipe, right?
Okay.
So if you have a pipe that this wide open, you can fit that much in it, right?
Right.
This wall is made out of muscle. I forgot my actual one that you can really see is the artery, but arteries are just made out of muscle.
Okay.
The pump is pumping into the pipe. When you stress and tense, the muscles constrict. So now instead of this McDonald's straw, now you're trying to put blood through a coffee stirrer.
Right.
And the heart is the pump. So say might not work out well. I didn't practice. But if this is a pump. If you're pumping into a nice big tube, you don't have to apply a lot of pressure. Right? Life is good. Things are nice and flowy.
Right.
If you put this tiny little one, you're going to have to pump way harder to get it to go out. And that pump is your heart. So that boom, boom, that pound, that's stress. Right. And then this tightness, when any organ in your body isn't getting enough oxygen, it's going to talk to you. Right. Particularly here. So if your heart's pumping that hard and then your muscles are like this and the blood can't flow, it's going to get, in terms of the heart, the esophagus, and the lungs, everything that lives in the chest, is going to give you either that tight or a squeezing, or thank God for the, oh my God, an elephant's on my chest.
Yeah.
As women, we rarely get that. As women, we get fatigue. You know, we get that breath that you just don't, and we tend to ignore it and brush it off so we can take care of everybody we're conditioned to take care of.
Right.
And that's why women die of undiagnosed heart disease. At least men get the symptoms, at least young and healthy.
Yeah.
Their heart was able to have that symptom. My concern would be 40 years down the road.
Right.
What does that look like? It doesn't look the same.
It doesn't look the same.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
That's deep.
Right. And that's just the stress. Now add on, and to that point, and I'm not trying to aid you or any of us. But you get to a point where instead of being just a nice, wide open, clean muscle, maybe you like chocolate chip cookies. Maybe you like,
and I do.
I love chocolate. I love dark chocolate. I love sugar. Whatever you like then starts to affect that whole vessel, right? The cholesterol starts to build up in the wall of the artery. The sugars are inflammatory and start to damage the thin lining. The lining is just like the inside of your cheek. Imagine you had a little sore inside your cheek. Now, how when you put salt or lemon, burn, that's it getting inflamed. That's what sugar is doing to the lining of the arteries, but there's no nerve endings there. Wow. So you can't feel it. That's why they call these things a silent killer.
Silent killers.
Right. And so these are damaging the pipes, the lumens getting smaller, the muscles then tense. And in your great big arteries that go to your arms and your legs, this is the tree trunk. They call it the vascular tree.
Yeah.
So the trunk is wide and the branches are thick, but those tiny little capillaries that are just a hair thin that go out to the edges of your brain and the edges of your eye and your heart, those get clogged like that. And they don't have symptoms. But down the road in your brain, that could lead to vascular dementia, right? In your heart.
Vascular dementia?
Yeah. Yep. These are what we call end organ damage. And when you go to your doctor and you talk about your cholesterol, your sugars, the number of your cholesterol is not the be all end all. Right. The number of your sugars is not the be all end all. It's the damage that level of sugar can have over decades on your vessels.
So I have a question.
Please ask.
I have a question. So okay. I've never had an issue ever with my cholesterol until this year. And I can't remember what my numbers were, but it was a little elevated, right? And I'm just like, I hear so many things about menopause, going through menopause and how that brings on a whole bunch of symptoms in itself.
Over 80.
Right. Shout out to Sherelle Flag.
Shout out Sherelle, Pretty Moody. Pretty Moody products are great.
Right. So, like, and then yeah, my levels of stress have been pretty it's been a lot. I was sharing with you earlier, I had spine surgery in November. I'm still healing from that. And then recently, actually we just laid to rest our stepson, my stepson, my fiance's youngest son. We just laid him to rest on Saturday. And it's just been a lot. It's been a lot happening. So I feel like, how much does that play a part of me feeling or noticing my cholesterol being elevated now? Because nothing really changed in regards to my eating habits. I try to eat good. I try to work out, help me.
Compared to before, I'm not saying you got your hair or don't, but are there more gray hairs now?
Yeah, right in the front, but I touched it up a little bit.
Me too. I got the spray, but same thing, right? Like the organs that put out your cholesterol, the organs that have to digest it, they're aging too, and we're losing estrogen that protected us for so long.
Got you.
Right? So yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Wait, ain't that something?
I'm sorry.
Looking forward to it. Well, let's see what you got to look forward to, Jen.
I'm so sorry. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I didn't mean to gloss over that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, it's a lot of people shouting, coming in and leaving comments. Shout out to Stanley Morgan. Shout out to Donna Brown Foster. Hey, Mona. Sherry Mona. Yes. Tyra Reeves. Thank you for tuning in. We have a few more. I just want to make sure I acknowledge everybody as they're coming in. If you guys have a comment, or if you have a question, please put it in the chat so we can make sure that Dr. Brown is able to answer any questions or comments. Shout out to my mom. Hey, mom, that you may have. So what are some other organs that are affected by
so
stress?
That's the brain and the heart. The eyes too. Some of us have family members with macular degeneration. Right? Vision loss, dry eyes, anything that can happen in the eyes, cataracts, all these things. Every single organ in the body is fed by a blood vessel.
Wow.
So there's not one organ that it doesn't affect. And the other one I really like to talk about is the liver. Your liver is right up under your right rib cage, and it looks like a piece of liver at the market, brown, fleshy. You eat the same thing that we love, the chocolate chip cookies. I love the people who say, but I don't eat that much sugar. Okay, whatever your vice is, the bread, the potato chips, the meat, the fried food,
the red
whatever
wine?
The things are. The what?
The red wine?
Red wine has a what do you call it? A redeeming factor, the resveratrol.
Okay.
Right, and that has been shown to help good cholesterol.
What about if it's sweet red wine?
And then that has sweet red, a little more sugar, a little more sweet, a little more sugar, right? And a serving for my wine lovers. I don't drink, but my wine lovers say that ain't nothing. Because the Weight Watchers had the wine glasses with like the amount that was healthy. Right.
Oh, wow.
Right. Nobody's ever happy with the serving size.
Yeah. Okay.
So the liver's job is to suck out everything that doesn't belong and excrete it in your stool. The liver, remember, should look like a piece of liver. When it gets overwhelmed, instead of just fizzling out, it pushes everything extra to the side as fat, like a sponge would fill with fat.
Okay.
And then this is what a fatty liver looks like.
Wow.
So imagine, and this is the new American pandemic. So imagine you have your liver, a big ball of fatty tissue under here that now can't filter as well, can't process as well. And it's made out of fat. And for anybody who has extra fat here, right, the bigger the girth of this, the more chances that you're suffocating your liver with the fatty liver.
Oh my goodness.
And then that causes all kind of metabolic disease. And what I've learned recently is that your diaphragm, which is the muscle that holds all the organs down and separates your chest, if that's out of shape, then it rides up some. It's loose, so it rides up. Your heart and lungs only have this much room, and your liver has more room to be fatty and grow and take up more space. And part of why I started really focusing on yoga and the stretching is because that's one of the best ways to work the diaphragm. An in-shaped diaphragm will do what God created it to do and compress your organs,
Right.
which will allow them to function optimally, and then give your lungs and heart the most amount of room. Without that, you're a setup for metabolic disease. And metabolic, I mean sugar, diabetes,
Yeah.
cholesterol,
Mm-hmm.
fatty liver, all the things that then ensue after that.
I have never heard it explained that way.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm loving aren't y'all loving the props? I'm loving the props that she's brought, right? She came prepared. She came prepared, right? I've never heard of the liver being explained that way.
Yeah, and
Really.
the way I look at the human body, right? The way I look at you, especially you, because you're my friend,
Aw.
right? Like, I want us to live. I want us to grow
Yeah.
old together.
Yeah.
In order for that to happen, you have to understand how your body works.
Mm-hmm.
I only get 15 minutes with you.
Mm-hmm.
You get your life with you.
Right.
You control what you're putting in.
Right.
Right? Every bite you take, I have a big sign in my office, and it says every bite you take is either fighting disease or feeding it.
Or feeding it.
And there's a picture on the fighting it side, anything that
Mhm.
grew from the ground in its natural state. On the feeding it side, anything you bought that went through a factory in America. Not in all countries. They don't, other factories in other
Right.
countries don't use the same processes, ingredients. There's no high fructose corn syrup,
Right.
right? Like, we don't do that other
Yeah.
places. But here,
We do.
America.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We have any questions from anybody? I'm checking the chat. If you guys got questions, come on, bring it down, because this is a good time to ask.
Also, the other thing about what you put in and how to keep the system clean is the same. You can think of it, like I said, it's a machine. It's like your car, right? If you buy a high-end car, are you putting, what's that, Liberty basic gas in it?
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
Right? Every now and then, at least you'll put the high octane in.
Right.
Same thing with food, right? If we're feeding our bodies, I have a lot of people say, but I only eat a little bit of sugar. How many little bits of sugar would you put in that Lexus? Right? And then how long would you expect it to last?
That's good.
Right?
That's
Same
good.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's
So
good.
as clean as it can be. And clean doesn't mean I'm plant-based or I only eat this or I only eat red meat on these. Clean means you read the ingredients and you put ingredients in your body that you understand, that you would pick out at a store and be like, oh, this is good and healthy, like olive oil.
Okay.
Not vegetable. Vegetable oil is another man-made product that is mostly legal in America, not in other countries.
Wow.
Right.
So out of the oils, olive oil, and I use olive oil. Olive oil is the best one. Grapeseed,
avocado, those are all healthy. Corn, canola, soybean, none of that. And I've been a pescatarian for 18 years now. And I was doing plant-based food, and I was almost 50 pounds overweight for the majority of that and couldn't understand why. Right? I did Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, all the things. It never landed me the long-term effect that I wanted and never would, because I was eating things that had all those ingredients, not knowing that those ingredients were toxic. It was only when I eliminated vegetable oil that all of a sudden my cholesterol went down. And I didn't know that vegetable oil was in my oat milk. Like, when I read the ingredients on my oat milk creamer, it was water, high fructose corn syrup, and vegetable oil. Top 3 ingredients. Plant-based. Right? Thanks, America. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is that though?
Like, why is that? And so I started to wonder that myself. Remember, let me just put it out there. I'm crazy. I'm paranoid. And I was raised by revolutionaries. Right? So, starting with that, why would you do that to us, America? Why would you indoctrinate me into this medical degree where I was never taught that? Where I was never taught true nutrition. I was never taught exercise medicine. I was actually taught that natural medicine was to be shunned and poo-pooed, right? That is quackery, that we don't deal in that.
You were taught that
in medical school.
Through medical school.
In medical school. Chiropractic, all these things are quackery. And what we were taught was not healthcare, but sick care and pharmaceuticals. Right? And what does fatty liver do? sell more shots, right? What helps diabetes and sugars? Not that if you need those medicines, there's anything wrong with that, but we're all being fed a diet to ensure that we need those medicines.
That was wow.
Yeah. So that's me personally. That's what I think. But
that's crazy. Yeah. So they see y'all. We got Dr. Brown here, y'all. I'm telling you, it's please take advantage of this. And she's going to be coming. She's going to be visiting us more often on the show because this is so important. Please, and I'm gonna get to y'all questions. I see the questions. Think about what she just said. Think about what she said. She was in medical school. She was taught. She wasn't taught about plant-based and you know, the holistic approach. It was more so pharmaceuticals.
It was also all in its entirety plant-based. They would teach us where penicillin came from, mold where, but not really, right? Not like go out and get that plant. In fact, what they taught us was that if we did use the plants, we wouldn't know the doses and we could cause toxicity.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Hold that thought. I'm gonna get to some of the questions.
Yes, please.
All right. So Jen says, with all these new sicknesses going on, what are your recommendations of eating to stay healthy during this season?
Get some exercise, first of all. I'm going to have some cookies. Let me just put it out there. And everybody doesn't like crumble. I'm having a crumble cookie on Friday, right? Get some exercise. We're going to eat it. We live in America. We're not in the desert where there's no sugar. So the thing is moderation, right? I try to say, if you could do 80% of your food clean, and the other 20%, you have the leeway to enjoy what you enjoy. When I'm at work, my food prep, because I don't have time or patience, is a big thing of lettuce. Whatever I like cut up on my salad, I cut it up on the weekend, and then I have it in the fridge at work. It's a no-brainer because by the time lunchtime comes, I'm cranky, I'm hangry, right? I'm overwhelmed. I have this much time. I can throw that in a bowl and eat it without thought. As opposed to what am I going to DoorDash? Because if you do that, you're going to get more. And I plan my celebrations. I've been way more stressed lately, and my celebrations have turned into snacksidents, I like to call them.
Okay, snacksidents. I like that.
So it's gone down, but yeah, you know, we have a trip coming up.
We do. Yes, we do.
I don't need my snacksidents showing up in that baby.
I love it. Okay, so next question. Michael says, how do these principles differ for men?
Men have the same. Well, the thing about men is you never have estrogen. So your risk for heart disease, men die younger, right? Because they don't have estrogen that protects and lubricates arteries and adds flexibility and all the wonderful things that our hormones do for us. So on the other hand, men also have an easier time losing weight because they don't have estrogen. Active men get less disease across the board. Exercise, and exercise some more. Men, muscles, and this is for men and women, but muscles are medicine. We think of muscles as like, you know, what holds us together and gets us bulky. No, they do that. But muscles also produce the hormones that break down sugar, mimic insulin, control your cholesterol. And exercise doesn't have to be some big drip drop session of sweat, right? Exercise can be using the band while you're sitting at your desk. So for men, it's that. For men also, it's reducing your cancer risk. Black men in particular, prostate, colon, and lung. And again, exercise makes the antioxidants, vegetables and fruit, the food that was designed for the human body to consume, all of them fight disease, right? Eating the colors of the rainbow fights disease.
Now, does it make a difference when it comes down to your fruits and vegetable? Because sometimes they have it in organic, but so I be like, that's the same as this. They just charging higher.
And that's been proven sometimes. So yeah. And actually my nail lady, shout out to Mimi and her daughter-in-law, works at Whole Foods.
Okay.
And she told me that at Whole Foods, they actually go through a whole certification process to make sure it's really organic.
Okay.
And if the non-organic touches the organic, it's like a big deal. And I have a girlfriend who only eats organic.
Okay.
Right? I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, again,
Mm-hmm.
as a cookie addict, I'm sure I'm better off with a non-organic banana than the cookie I actually buy.
Right.
You gotta weigh the options. So yeah.
Okay. And just so we're clear again, you said eating clean, because I used to get confused with that as
Mhm.
well. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, eating clean is the vegetables, fruits and stuff like that. But you're saying it's really the ingredients.
Absolutely the ingredients.
Okay.
1000% the ingredients. For
Okay.
example, my other guilty pleasure is popcorn. I love
Okay.
popcorn. I could just sit and eat it. And I was in Aldi and I realized I didn't have any more popcorn, so I grabbed a bag. When I read the ingredients on the Aldi popcorn, there were probably 15. And that
Okay.
alone, the popcorn that I eat is Skinny Pop. It's corn, olive oil, and salt.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was our first lesson in med school.
Mm-hmm.
The KISS rule: keep it simple, stupid. Right? If
Keep
it ain't simple, it ain't right.
stupid.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to keep it simple. If you read ingredients and it doesn't meet the KISS rule,
Yeah.
don't buy that. Because when you're
Okay.
hungry, you're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Mhm.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
so Eileen says, can you talk some on dementia?
I can.
Mhm.
And dementia, I will tell you, hits close to home right now.
Mhm.
My husband's brother is in the throes of dementia. I am now the medical director of a hospice company, and 90% of our cases are dementia. You would think hospice cancer, hospice. No, it is dementia.
Wow.
And the number
Wow.
one risk factor for dementia is, let me put it out there, bad luck, right? Nobody deserves dementia.
Yeah.
It's one
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
hardest diseases
Yeah.
to watch and to process and all this. And that being said, risk factors for dementia are poor metabolic health and lack of exercise. Diabetes, high cholesterol, chronic
Wow.
kidney disease, fatty liver, all these things lead to increase your risk for dementia.
It increases the risk for dementia.
And there's
Okay.
no FDA proven tests for dementia.
Right.
Right. And there is research being done, thank God. But I tell everyone, because everybody's like, oh my God, I can't remember where I put my keys.
Mm-hmm.
Me either. Because
Yeah.
there's this other thing called intellectual overload.
Right.
Right. The trauma, where our brains are going 75 different directions. It's very different than 50 years ago.
Absolutely.
Right. Then you've got the ticker tape, the phone, the email, the like everything.
We're overstimulated.
Yes. So that's not a telling sign for dementia, nor is what your brain looks like anatomically. So there's a place in California called Leisure World. It's a city that's been established for about 70 years now. And the stipulation to move there, it's for seniors. The stipulation to move there is that you have to be willing to donate your body to science upon your demise. And they studied all kinds of diseases. It's given us so much information. But when they looked at the brains of people who had passed, there was a calculus professor who lived into his 90s who was doing calculus until he died. When they looked at his brain on autopsy, it was almost as small as a walnut. There were other people who were demented, didn't know their family, and nonverbal, and their brains were plump and juicy and looked like they should be operating normally. But as you know, the brain doesn't work on just blood vessels. There's electricity, there's hormones, there's things we can't measure. So the key is to keep a healthy brain, right? Who cares if we live to 90 if we can't recognize our own
Right, exactly. So the shrinking of the brain is the dementia.
No.
Or
the calculus professor had a tiniest brain ever.
Oh, he had a tiny brain. Okay, so I got it. I had that backwards.
So you
Okay.
can't tell by looking.
Right. Got you.
He kept his electrical pathway strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He did calculus. And they found there's no diet that prevents dementia. It's the clean and moderation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They drink alcohol, they have carbs,
Mm-hmm.
vegans, like none of that.
Mm-hmm. Does smoking play a role?
Absolutely.
In it?
So smoking destroys blood vessels, period. Smoking destroys all cells, just like estrogen protects all cells.
Yes.
Nicotine is
to
any.
Okay. Because I do know someone that has dementia, and because they were smoking, they had a stroke.
Mhm.
And that's what the doctor was saying. It was coming from the smoking.
Yes. Your risk of any major event, heart attack, stroke, cancer, anything,
Mm-hmm.
is anywhere from 2 to 5 times more likely when you smoke.
Wow.
Yeah. Smoking gives you nicotine constricts vessels,
Mm-hmm.
and then the nicotine is toxic to the lining.
Mm-hmm.
And in the lungs, it's the same anatomy all over the body. The tissue of the lungs are surrounded by muscle,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have these thin linings, and smoking impedes oxygen flow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I have a question for
Yes.
you. Because I do notice that, and I could be totally wrong. I just noticed that the Black and brown community, we tend to have a lot of autoimmune diseases. Rather um it's so many, but lupus hits home in my family, right? Um is there i- i- is it more prone in our culture versus like what's going on? Because I promise you, I feel like every Black or brown person that I know, either they have or they have someone in their family that has autoimmune diseases, different ones, right?
Yeah, there is
So,
a new epidemic of autoimmune disease, particularly in the young, particularly our youth. My son has Crohn's disease, and it
mhm,
is hard. Uh, and his health is never not a concern. If that
mhm.
makes any sense.
Yeah.
And part of what I've learned, again, Black and brown people have not been at the forefront of any medical studies until very
Mhm.
recently.
Mhm.
And so do we know for sure? No.
Right.
Can we extrapolate from what we do know?
Right.
Absolutely. Yes, we know that African American women have more autoimmune disease. That's a fact.
Mhm.
And why? We're not sure. However, when you look at, and back to food,
Mhm.
food deserts, and
Mhm.
where processed food is the
Yeah.
majority, that's
Yeah.
also where the majority of diseases,
Yeah.
the majority of mentholated cigarettes, right? The majority of blue dye,
Mm.
right? The majority of red dye number 3,
Mhm.
Dollar General, Family
Yep.
Dollar, ShopRite, right? Like our
Them Takis y'all be buying for y'all
oh
kids, like all
right.
of those things.
And
Yeah.
guilty as charged. My son
Yeah.
was 15 years old when he got diagnosed, and we were in the infusion center in the hospital, and I was giving him things to make him feel good. I love him,
Yeah.
and he was in pain, and I gave
Oh.
him Skittles, and I gave him things that now I know, my God, I was like poisoning him in the
Right.
hospital. I didn't know that. And my son, they say train up a child. He was very anti anything I said for a very long time. And then when he came home at Thanksgiving, my husband and I were both like, oh my gosh, he listened. He started eating. He didn't tell us. He was exercising more. He lost 30 pounds.
Oh,
Like,
good
he
for
looked incredible.
him.
And,
Oh.
he still has Crohn's disease, but
Yeah.
he's learned now how to deal with
How to
it.
deal
And
with
that's
it.
my wish for every
Yeah.
human on earth, right?
Yeah.
Because you only get one body.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much honing in on like what's triggering certain, like paying attention to your body,
Mhm.
what's triggering certain
Mhm.
things, right?
Mhm.
Inflammation is the root of a lot of stuff,
Lots.
right? Can
Lots.
you talk a little bit about that?
So stress causes inflammation. And ingredients.
Lord have mercy.
Don't stress. Girl, just don't ever stress. And don't ever eat sugar. Sugar causes inflammation. And I feel it. That's the other reason why I try to go Monday through Friday without sugar. And because it
Jeez.
cleanses your system. Dairy. I don't know if I've talked to you about that.
Yeah, I don't mess
before.
with dairy. I try
Dairy,
not
yeah,
to. Certain
cheese,
things.
butter, ranch, all these things, creamer, all cream
Oh
cheese,
gosh.
all dairy. Anything that came out of a cow is inflammatory. And there's another one, gluten. Gluten can be very inflammatory for people. So
And gluten is in everything.
and it's delicious. Imagine, I'm coming to you as a foodie. I love food. It's delicious. I grew up on it.
This is what I love about Dr. Brown. Okay. This is what I love about her, because she's gonna give you the information and she's gonna tell you what you need to do. But she's human, right?
Human.
She's human. So I love that, you're able to say, yo, I struggle with these things too,
Yes.
So
I can't have it around me. If I have something I love, it will be demolished. Like, it's just a given. So I don't have it around until I'm ready to demolish something. And then my patients say to me, well, what do you eat? How do you say? That's nuts. Nuts are amazing for you, right? Nuts have all the healthy fat. They have protein. They have everything.
Any kind or certain ones?
Any.
Okay.
Again, if you have a choice
And I love
between a
nuts.
nut or a potato chip,
Yeah.
choose the nut.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
I have the pumpkin spice. I have the sweet and spicy. Trader Joe's has a plethora of amazing nuts. They're not all good for me, right? But if I need something and all I need is that little bit of sugar.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We have another question. What's your advice for people who want to get started with their health journey?
Start. That's my advice. Start. Drink
Simple.
2 ounces of water, right? Like, don't hold yourself to the 100% or nothing, because that's absolute failure, right? But you do one thing. Put your water closer to where you sit so you'll actually drink it, right?
You know what helps with that too? I have a client, or I had a client. She hated water. And I'm like, what is it? What is it that you hate? Like, do maybe you need to make it more cold. Sometimes I like cold water, right? Some people like room temperature water, right? So this is but she loved wine. She loved her wine. So I told her to start putting her water in her wine glass. Just put it in, and it's like
mental.
That reverse. It's a mental thing, right?
Very mental.
So you having your water, you're thinking, you're feeling like you're having a cocktail, but you're drinking water. So try it. If you have an issue with drinking water, put the water in like one of your favorite glasses, something that you may drink something else out of, and it might feel different. Now, is there such a thing of, because I've heard this, that you can drink too much water?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Okay.
You know how humanly almost impossible that is to do, right? How do you drink the water and then you're like, oh my God, I can't stay out this water.
Right.
And then you slow down, right?
Right.
Nobody drinks too much water anymore unless you have mental disease or something's wrong with your brain. Your brain is not going to let you do that. The amount of water that you should be drinking, you don't have to measure anything. I've done it by the big 64 ounce. I'm drinking 2 of these. You want your urine clear. That's when you're drinking enough water. And I time my water after work. Good. I don't drink very much water. I drink it all when I'm near the toilet. Then when I got to run my errands, I don't drink that. I don't like my sleep interrupted. Period.
Yes.
So I cut my water off at 5 or 6 o'clock and I'm done. And you wouldn't believe how many people come to me. They're like, I can't sleep. I'm just in the bathroom all night. Well, how much were you drinking? All night long. I'm like, okay, well, let's start with that. Yeah.
I get I see, I have, if you go in my room, I have bottles of water where I'm like, because I get real dry at night. So I'm constantly, I reach over, and yes, I'm the one that's getting up, and it's hard for me to go back to sleep.
Right.
So I am that person, but like, it's dry, and I have a air purifier in the room, and it's only in the when it's cold out. The heat just, I don't know.
Hydrate your skin too. Like, you might want to hydrate 3 or 4 times a day your actual skin.
Okay.
With shea butter, because we lose a lot through moisture and dry heat,
and probably working out, sweating as well, right?
Yes. So you want to overhydrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So when we're talking about skin, stress affects your skin.
Everything affects your skin.
Yeah. So first thing comes to mind for me is breakouts.
Yes.
Right. If you're under a lot of stress, you may tend to have breakouts, rather it's on your face or your back or even your chest. Is there anything else that like may happen with the skin due to stress?
Well, right now, eczema, dry skin and eczema can be triggered by stress. Eczema is on the allergy pathway. So eczema, allergies, and asthma tend to all come together. Right now, we're in these closed air systems, and the heat's on, and there's dust everywhere. We put up the Christmas stuff. We took down Christmas. We haven't opened the windows, and so dust is huge.
Right,
In your
right,
mattress alone, there
right.
are
Oh Lord.
3,000 dust mites per square inch. And your pillows.
So we're gonna be itching tonight, y'all, when we go to
Turn it,
bed.
flip it, moisturize. Yeah.
Thanks to Dr. Brown. We got
Yeah.
how many dust mites?
3,000, and they're the ugliest little creatures. Have you ever looked at like a
Oh no.
microscopic? Right. As
No.
soon as you think about it, you're like, let me
We're
just
not doing that.
clean these sheets. Let me get a new pillow. They're like $5 at Costco. Just get a new pillow, right? Because you're breathing it all night. Yeah, and that on your skin, on your face, on your legs, right? Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Now, if I'm up tonight, I'm calling you. I'm
Let
like,
me
yeah.
put my do not
You
disturb.
took me.
Call me Shay. Yeah,
You took me out with the dust mite thing.
they're nasty.
Wow. So, with that being said, how often should we be washing our sheets and stuff?
More than I do. Tripping in bed. I really have it, but yeah, more.
So, are we looking at like once a week?
That'd be good.
That'd be
and
good.
also vacuuming under the bed. You know, like
Mhm.
de-dusting. I take
Mhm.
my rule is whenever I dry my hands, and I'm also cheap, so these bound paper towels are ridiculous. So I make myself dust something. Like I have to wipe something, and I did it today, and I'm like, this place is.
Uh-huh.
And it's not like I don't dust,
Mhm.
but the windows are closed,
Exactly.
and the
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And I have a pet. You know, like all that
Do
plays a role. I do.
Did you
I don't
just get
talk about him. He's
I was gonna say I've never seen your pet.
he a jerk. It's a cat. It's a cat. I love him, but he's a jerk. During the pandemic, nobody was happy for me to come home. I was the only one out, and I needed somebody to
Right,
be.
right.
I got him. He's still learning how to be happy.
Oh my
when I-
god. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So, is there anything else that like what is our takeaways as we wrap up?
Takeaway.
What is our
Take care of
takeaways?
yourself.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Right. Drink water. Eat fruits and vegetables. Breathe.
Mm.
All there is to do. We're all going to be stressed. Everything's a trigger. Notice when you're triggered.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Mhm.
I keep things around me, grounding. I even have one on my rear view mirror,
Mhm.
right? Just in case, like you got this, right?
Mhm.
Like just little things. Just breathe, take care of yourself, move your body, know your risk, go to the doctor, right?
Mhm.
Learn what's going on with you. You might not get a doctor who explains everything to you. Take your questions with you, you know, like
Mhm.
write down, just know your family history because that's what you're made of.
Yes.
And then stay informed, stay educated.
Yeah, for
Especially in a
sure.
system where they're threatening to take all that away. Right?
Absolutely.
We have
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
really now be community. The CDC is banning all outgoing information. They've halted all research on HIV. Right?
What?
They already did it. Yeah. So all that to say, now more than ever, we're on our own. We've been there before. Right? There
We
is no
have.
justice, just us.
We have.
Right? We have to
We
take
have.
care of us. We
Yeah.
have to eat clean. And we have to know that this has been stacked against us
Yeah.
for 500 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And look where we are.
Yeah.
So,
God.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
wow.
We got this. We got
Wow.
this.
But see, this is why I do shows like this, right? Because this is why I do shows like this. This is why I do Rebirth Live. This is why I do Rebirth Meetup, because it's bringing our community together to have these type of conversations with people that look like us, with professionals, right? At the last meetup, we had, you were there, right? So Dr. Brown was there. There was another doctor that was there. There was a judge there. There was lawyers there. There was other therapists there. Like as my friend would say, Michelle, everything that you need is in the room.
Yep.
Right? And she says that all the time. Everything that you need is in the room. We just got to open our mouths. We got to talk to each other. We got to support each other, right? And we got to be able to say, I'm not okay. Right. Whether it's something physically that's going on or something mentally, I'm not okay. Right? So it's just so important. But this is why, Dr. Brown, this is why I do what I do.
And thank you for doing
Seriously, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for always saying yes when I call upon you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We have a good time, y'all. Every year we go on this women's retreat that is brought to us by Secretary Mona, and she this year we're going to Costa Rica. We're going to Costa Rica. Dr. Brown does the medical piece, and I do the mental health piece. And we take care of our business. We have a we go in there and we deliver, and then we have a good time. And then we turn up, right? So, but it's so important that we do have these conversations. So I don't know if there's any more questions in the chat. We're about to wrap up. So if there's anything else that you would like to ask Dr. Brown, please put it in the chat. I do have another question. Someone knew you were coming on and they told me to ask you this. Gout. Is that triggered by being stressed as well? Or is that something?
Now that it's been proven, no, gout is food.
Gout is food.
Yeah, gout is genetics. Not everybody gets gout.
Okay.
But if gout runs in your family, you're more predisposed to get gout. Men are more likely to get gout. And gout is, they used to call it the rich man's disease. So it's uric acid, which happens to be in the most delicious, most rich foods. Cream. Wow. My granddaddy had gout and he loved him some cream chip beef. But he would eat it, get gout. Fried food, gravy, fatty foods.
Okay.
And the uric acid all aggravates to get to one spot like a magnet. The uric acid all goes to that joint, attach it to it, blows it up like in the cartoons, that big throbbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gout. So then the medicines are all to suck the uric acid out of there. And it's unpleasant. The way the medicine works is it sucks the uric acid out and then it comes out in your poop and you get diarrhea. That's how you know your uric acid.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody wants gout. Nobody wants gout. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is so interesting. Tyree says, when and where is the meetup information? Please. Yes. Can we put it back on the screen? Okay. The Rebirth meetup is this Saturday. I can't even talk right. This Saturday, February 8th. February 8th, 6 to 9 in Wilmington, Delaware. You can go to rebirthu.com and get your ticket. The ticket is only $25, guys. And we have such a great time. And this time we have a DJ coming out. So y'all can get y'all little two-step on while you're networking, and y'all can do the boots on the ground dance with me, because I've been practicing that with the fan. I don't know if y'all know about it, but Dr. Brown, bring your fan, okay? We're going to do that. Donna Brown Foster says, thank you to the host and Dr. Brown. This was very rewarding and educational. Donna, thank you so much.
I love you.
Yeah.
And Linda, thank you. I love you.
Oh, I love y'all too. I don't know y'all, but I love y'all too.
Oh, and can I just say one more thing on that note?
Sure.
I tell my staff, I tell them every Monday the same thing. You know what's more contagious than neurovirus, flu, COVID, all these things we have to be afraid of, fear, hate? Love. Love is contagious. Smiles are contagious. Kindness is great. Like, we want everybody to say they're not okay, but we need an environment of love.
Yes.
And community and friendship, and a smile.
That's what it's about.
Goes a long way.
And we definitely need it right now, y'all.
Yes, if we ever need
it. We need it.
Yes.
We definitely need it. Like, we need to love on each other. We need to check on each other. We need to pick up the phone and call. Texting is great, but sometimes pick up the phone. Hey, you good? Let me hear your voice. You breathing? Let me hear, we need to do all of those things because it's just so important. Dr. Brown gave you some takeaways medically, and you also threw some mental health stuff in there in regards to
half of what I do is mental health.
right.
Half of what I do. Right. Science is easy. It's the mental health part. God bless you.
Right.
God bless you, Shea.
So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of pointers to handle your stress, right? I truly believe in practicing self-care, and I just want to be clear. Self-care is not going to the nail salon, ladies. That's not self-care. That's what we do. That's our routine.
To me.
That's not self-care, Dr. Brown.
But it's so much stuff. My bad. What should I do, Shea? Go ahead. I'm listening.
Maintenance. You're maintaining yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go, self-care is something that you tend to not really do all the time for yourself. It's just taking that time for yourself. It could be just sitting on the couch watching Netflix and just not even allowing anything else but just enjoying your show, your favorite show, right? If that's making you feel good and you don't have to think, and this is not something that because people my ladies say that all the time. Did you practice your self-care? Yeah, I went and got my nails done. Wait a minute. You would have gotten your nails done anyway, right? Right? We normally do, right?
But look how happy I am when they're done.
You're happy? Yeah. And you really be getting your nails done. They look good too. Show them, turn them around. There you go. But self-care is basically something that's gonna, just make you feel really good and pour back into yourself. And like you said, I'm gonna say this. If that's what you feel that is self-care, then that's fine. Do that. But that's always what people give me when I ask them, oh, I went and got my nails done, right? If you tell me you went and got a massage, right? You went and took a mindfulness walk in the park, right? Remember I had y'all do the mindfulness walk on the beach? I gotta tell this story, y'all. I know we're over in time, but I have to tell this story. Dr. Brown loved to talk. So y'all, you notice. She loves to talk, but it's always good conversation. It's always fun with her. So we were in Dominican Republic. We were in DR. And I decided I wanted to lead the group. Sherry, I know you on here, Sherry. I wanted to lead the group into a mindfulness walk on the beach. It was so beautiful. It was gorgeous. And the ladies, we all met in a certain place. And I said, the one thing that you guys can't do is talk. You cannot talk to each other. Dr. Brown said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
I mean, you for coffee afterwards.
He said, you're going to have to put tape over my mouth or something, right? Y'all, she did it. She did it. And the feedback, when we came back together and processed what everybody was thinking, what was they feeling, did you feel the breeze, right? Because that's about being mindful, right? So one of the things that I would suggest to deal with stress is practice mindfulness, right? And mindfulness is being in the moment, being present. So when we were doing the mindfulness walk, no one was allowed to talk to each other, right? And sometimes that's a little bit difficult because you have people coming past you and people like to speak or whatever. We can just wave our hand, smile, wave your hand and speak, oncoming traffic or whatever. But pay attention to the wind on your skin. Pay attention to how the sun is feeling on your skin. What are you smelling? What are you hearing? Right? And we were on a beach. If you don't have any shoes on, what does the sand feel like on your feet? This is all mindfulness, being in the moment, right? So if you don't have a beach and you want to practice mindfulness, it's basically just being in the moment, being present. Most of the time we are thinking about what we need to do. Right now, you might be like, okay, I need to cook dinner when I get home, or I need to put clothes in the laundry, or whatever the case may be. That means she's not being present with me. But being present with me is her, like she's doing. She's giving me eye contact. She's listening to everything I'm saying, right? And her mind is not somewhere else. So if we're practicing mindfulness, we're giving our bodies permission to be still and to show up in that moment, right? And you can do that anytime. You could do it when you're driving to work. How many times have you gotten to work and you don't know how you even got there, but you just pulled up in the parking lot? You don't remember anything about your drive. So what I would challenge you guys to do tomorrow morning as you leave your homes to go wherever, practice being in the moment. Okay? Be present. What do you notice? What did you see? What did you smell? Did you see a car come up next to you? How many traffic lights did you go through? Pay attention to those things, being present. And if you could train your mind to do that, eventually, naturally, it will start to do that. And you're not somewhere else, right? So mindfulness, meditation is another thing. Some people are like, well, I don't do that meditation because they think it's connected to some other religion or whatever the case may be. Meditation is meditation. If you add religion to it, it's whatever you want to do. Meditation could be prayer, right? It could be prayer. You can sit. If you want to pray, that's also considered meditation, right? It's just sitting still and just being there, right? Routine. Thank you so much. Someone said amazing podcast. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. The other thing I will suggest too is, like Dr. Brown said, stretching. Stretching is so important. And the older you get, the more you need to stretch. That flexibility is so important. Being able to stretch your body out, especially before going to bed at night, will help you sleep better, right? So I like to prepare myself to go to sleep because I struggle with sleeping or staying asleep, right?
Same.
Yeah. So I try to prepare myself. I'll take a nice, whether it's a hot shower or a nice, Epsom salt, lavender type bath. I may have some nice chamomile tea before I go to bed. And I will put on the ocean sounds or the sound of the rain because that soothes me. I love to hear the sound of water, right? And I'm preparing myself. It's like I'm going on a date with myself, but I'm going to sleep, right? So being able to do that is so important. And if you have a lot of things on your mind, do brain dumps before you go to sleep. And a brain dump is simply just taking a piece of paper and writing down everything that's on your mind. It don't have to be in any particular order. Just get it out of here and put it on paper. And you can pick that up in the morning. It's going to be there waiting for you, right? So those are some of the things that I suggest in regards to managing your stress and practicing your self-care. And of course, if there's any questions or if you want to know more about that, please feel free to reach out to me at either in my DMs, that's perfectly fine, or you can reach me at info@rebirthlive@gmail. Was that right? Did I get it right? No, the email address is gonna be in the chat, y'all. I'm sorry. Is there anything else you would like to say before we wrap up?
No, just spread love, keep your joy, find your peace, and protect it. By any means necessary.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I hope to see you guys. If you are in the tri-state area, come out to the Rebirth meetup, man. We're gonna have a really good time. Again, you can get your tickets at Rebirth U, the letter U. We're gonna put that in the chat as well. RebirthU.com. You can get your tickets. I'm only allowing a certain amount of people because I like to keep the intimacy of the group. So I don't want to go over 50 people. I want to keep the intimacy of the group, and we're very close to that number. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, please do that. I've gotten a lot of love. You've gotten a lot of love in the chats tonight. Thank you so much. Can you go a step forward and just go and subscribe to the podcast so you will be alert every time we come on to do a show? Okay. And you also can find Rebirth U podcast on all podcast platforms: iHeart, Spotify, Apple. What's another one? What's it? Amazon. We're everywhere. So it's Rebirth U podcast. Okay. Dr. Brown, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I really I love the information that you bring and the personality behind it.
Thank you.
That's what makes it. People you got to be able to relate to your providers.
Yes.
That's important. I want a doctor like Dr. Brown, right? You got to be able to relate to your providers. It's important. So if you're not happy, if you're not getting your answers, and I'm standing 10 toes down on this, you got to advocate for your mental health, for your medical health. Advocate, because they're not going to just tell us. They're not just going to give it to us, and especially if they don't look like Dr. Brown or me, right? So you got to advocate for yourself. It's so important. So thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
So very welcome. Thank you guys.
All right, guys, have a wonderful night. I'll see you at the Rebirth meetup. Remember, it's the season to renew, rebuild, and restore. Thank you so much. Have a blessed week. Good night.
Good night.